name's Rich and we're Consumer Hub, and we specialise in recruiting marketing, innovation and sales professionals within the FMCG sector. And we are really excited because we've got our new mini-series, Meet The, and today we've got Sam Cordwell, who is the Head of Sales at Mighty Pea, on this very short, quick move through what Head of Sales involves, which hopefully is going to give you guys a bit more insight into kind of where you might be going in your career. So Sam, thank you for coming on this. We really appreciate it. Just very quickly, Sam, can you just introduce yourself and your role and your business?
So I'm head of sales and business development here at Mighty. You might know it as Mighty Pea. We are a challenger brand in the dairy alternative space. So you might have seen us on the shelves in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Asda, in with all of the milk alternatives. We've been around for about 3 years as a business, but grown very, very quickly. British-based brand up here in Leeds. Our main focus is about creating milk alternatives that are great nutritionally, taste great, obviously, and are also the most sustainable and the least impact on the environment.
Smashing. No, cheers for that. So Sam, you're the head of sales. So for those that are watching this that are maybe an account exec at the moment or an account manager, and they're wondering, what does my boss actually do? Can you just sort of take me quickly through what your role involves and what the value is in it for the business?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess in a small business, I probably do the account exec, account manager and head of role in any particular given day or week. But from a head of sales perspective, I guess, first and foremost, it's about delivering the sales and profit line for the business, that comes first and foremost. All businesses have targets, all businesses have people to answer to, and normally that's the first thing that people look for. What's the brand delivering from a sales point of view? I think in addition to that, it's about executing the sales plan or the trade plan, however you want to phrase it. So working with in our case, retail customers, grocery customers, to deliver the strongest possible trade plan on shelf, in store or online. Managing customer relationships is obviously a big part of the role. So from my point of view, a good chunk of the time will be managing existing relationships and adding value as much as possible. And then also for me in particular, this might be different in larger organizations, but it's about acquiring new business. So, as a brand like ours, small, growing quickly, entering new markets, entering new channels, launching new products, you never stop acquiring new business. So whether that's through your existing customers, through new listings, or new customers, new channels, new markets. Business development is also one of the key value drivers and roles of head of sales, certainly in this organization anyway.
Yeah. I think that's a really useful run through. I speak to a lot of guys actually who are keen to kind of move into a head of sales or sales lead role in challenger brands and that startup sector. And there's loads of exciting things happening there in the UK at the moment. Obviously, you're wearing a lot of hats. It's very multifaceted. What does a typical day look like within everything that you've just described?
Yeah, I think it's like anything really. I'm sure most people would say not every day looks the same, but there's always a few things that will happen during the course of a fairly normal working day in my role. The first thing I'll generally do is a performance check. So there's a daily check on where we are, and that's kind of twofold. It's where we are in terms of our sell in to our customers. So what are our sales doing? Because ultimately that will be the first measure from my point of view in terms of the health of where we are for the day, the week, the month, the quarter. And then also, our sell out. So what's our EPOS performance? So from our point of view, we get pretty good visibility of all our major customers and what's happening on the ground in stores. So that is the first thing, and that will definitely happen every single day. So that's the first thing. Obviously, customer relationship management will become part of your day, and sometimes that will railroad your whole day because that has to go to the top of the list. So, at some point in time, you will be engaging with customers, whether it's a meeting like this. I mean, a lot of our meetings are like this now, or email or phone or WhatsApp or pretty much any medium you can think of. There will be some kind of relationship stuff to deal with. Business development, it needs to be a daily discipline as well, if your sales responsibilities extend to that. So, business development doesn't often happen quickly. So if you're not moving things on just a little bit, nudging things on every single day, then you'll soon lose ground. So it will definitely be something there. So today, for example, I'm on a Zoom call with prospective distributor partners in far-flung markets of the world to see whether they're the right people for us to work with to launch Mighty into markets like Australia or New Zealand. So those are things that you have to find time for. It's very easy for that to slip, but you have to find time for those things. Checking in with the team. So we have quite a small, close-knit team here, but for me, I'm going to be checking in with supply chain daily. I'm going to be checking in with my other account team daily. And I also have responsibility for e-commerce as well. So, all those things are daily check-ins. What's going on? What orders are we getting in? Are we delivering against those orders? Any issues that I need to be aware of? And then there's some internal stakeholder stuff. Again, even for a small business, and for me, that's the co-founders of the business. It's the marketing team. It's definitely supply chain. Those things will happen daily. And the agenda will change, but, essentially there'll definitely be internal stakeholder stuff to manage as well during the course of any given day.
Okay, no, that's really interesting. So lots of plates to spin there, and that sounds a bit chunking, and being disciplined in what you drop your time into is really, really key.
Absolutely. I think there's always an element of you've got to be disciplined and organized. So there's certain things on that list that just have to happen. So if you can make those daily disciplines, I think that's really helpful. It helps me to know that, every day the first thing I do is X, or the second thing I do is Y. So those things become habits in the end. So they just happen subconsciously, but those definitely have to happen. And then a lot of the other stuff just needs to fit around that. So there is a lot of plate spinning inevitably. I think probably more so in a startup kind of setup, because you do wear many hats, but those are the things that will routinely happen, and they become habits if you keep doing them as a discipline. So what do you enjoy about the role then? I think first and foremost, it's great being the kind of, as the sales lead, you are the external kind of representative of the brand, particularly with customers. So from that point of view, you are seeing quite a lot of what the organization does, and you're seeing a lot of it from end to end. So from that point of view, you're kind of at the business end of what happens. I think so. From that point of view, I get a big kick out of that, and that comes with its challenges. But you kind of get to see the real operation of the business. You get to see what's happening in stores and on shelf. You're getting to hear what your buyers' feedback is. You get to deal with the competitor challenges or the market forces that you have to deal with. Those all feed into what you're doing in a role, and that's challenging, but it's also enjoyable. And the satisfaction of landing something, whether it's new customer, new listing, new initiative, I think those are the things that you kind of work hard for. I mean, ultimately delivering a number, but the things that contribute towards that number are probably the things that I enjoy the most.
Great. Okay, that's really interesting. And you touched on it earlier, but who are your sort of key stakeholders internally and externally? Like, who do you sort of spend the most time with? I
mean, externally is a fairly straightforward one, because it has to be your customers, it has to be your retailers. So if they're not your main external stakeholders, you're doing something wrong. So that one's dead easy. Internally for me, I mean, my most important ones are the two co-founders of the business. So again, that might be different for someone else. That might be a commercial director or a CEO, but for me, that's co-founder, co-founders. Outside of that, my supply chain manager, key one. Our head of marketing, key one. And in a small organization, everyone in the business is a key stakeholder. I would say, owners of the business or immediate line manager, commercial director, whoever it may be, supply chain, certainly marketing, and then the other one would be finance. As much as you try and hide from them, they do get you in the end. So
they know where you are. They've got your number.
It makes sense to keep them on side. So if Chris, our FD, ever sees this, then you are a key stakeholder, Chris. Don't worry.
So and again, you've alluded to this, and I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What does good look like? It sounds like it could be quite easy to get lost in the long grass, or get lost following blind alleys. How do you know when you've had a good day, and how do you know when you're delivering?
So I guess the weekly, monthly, quarterly, you're always going to have a sales report or a P&L or some kind of set of accounts that you can look at and measure yourself based on that. So I think that's the ultimate measure. From day to day, I think it's about progress, and that might be small and insignificant on a day-to-day basis, but it all adds up to something. Things don't always move quickly, particularly when you're dealing with very large retailers. So I think you have to take satisfaction and pleasure in moving things on just a little bit every time. So sometimes that might mean, I've secured a meeting with a buyer that I really need to speak to. And good can look as something as simple as that. Many moons ago, I was a buyer, and accepting a meeting from a supplier was not a significant part of my day. But on the other end, securing time with your key customer is probably one of the most important things that you can do. So little things like that will mean that today looks like success. A successful meeting, a successful conversation that moves things on. But also those kind of bigger wins are few and far between, and when they come, they're fantastic. But and some of them, they're a bit like buses sometimes. They'll come along 2 or 3 at a time. But most of the rest of the time, it's about making small wins and small progress towards those bigger things. And your sales reports are then the thing that you live and die by in the meantime.
Great. Guys, that's really useful. And just finally, to those watching that are aspiring, to get to head of sales level, what would your kind of number one piece of advice be?
I mean, it's difficult for me because I probably have a conventional route into a head of sales role. So I've kind of moved from buying into sales. So there's some transferable stuff there. But I guess if you're at an account exec level, maybe now, and you're looking to work your way up, I think take every opportunity to put yourself in a selling position and mix up the types of selling situations you put yourself in. So if it's moving on to a different channel or a different set of customers, moving to a different product range or brand, get as much of that type of experience under your belt as soon as possible. Because selling in different scenarios for different brands, is different, requires a different approach. Some customers will behave differently than others. So I think if you get that breadth of scenarios and experience, I think that stands you in really good stead for then dealing with anything that comes after that. So that means that you're going to fail perhaps a bit to start with, and you're going to get a lot of knockbacks, particularly if you're focused on business development. That is going to happen. Doesn't matter who you work for. So I think putting yourself in those situations, as many of those situations as possible, you'll just learn so much. So that would be the first one. The second one would be, I think, make sure you prioritize some kind of external accredited training at some point, whether that's sales training or potentially negotiation training. I think that's something that stood me in good stead going into sales. I had negotiation training as a buyer that's helped me in my career as a salesperson. So I think that's good to seek that out. And also there's lots of really great resources that are available to you that don't cost the earth, decent kind of books and reads that will kind of give you a good steer of what good sales looks like. And often that will or podcasts. yeah. Modern medium. Yeah. Definitely podcasts. That'll bust some myths maybe of what you thought selling was about. So yeah, they're probably the 3 bits of advice I would offer to anyone that's looking to kind of climb the sales ladder.
Great. That's really, really interesting. I've definitely learned a lot. And thank you so much for sharing. Just very quickly, you've got those products out there. Can you just give us a super quick rundown, the Mighty range? Because the big format ones. I got some of the smaller ones there. So
the small formats are in there, but this is kind of our core range, our core 1 litre range. These are ones you'll find in the supermarkets. These 2 guys are our Mighty Pea milks. So they're made from yellow split peas, not garden peas. It's not green, but this for us is kind of our bread and butter. So these guys deliver super high protein, 50% more calcium than cow's milk, fortified with vitamin D, B12 and iodine. This is kind of the healthiest plant milk you can buy on the market effectively, but also super sustainable. So we use yellow split peas because they're more sustainable than other plant milk sources. So use less water, use less land, use less CO2. So for all the reasons that people choose plant-based, we're a good option. And that is a good source because yes, it's good for you. It's healthy. It's good for animal welfare because it's plant-based. And also it's the best possible choice you can make for the planet. So there are pea milks. This is our oat milk, which also contains yellow split peas. So it's like oat milk, but better. So, if you are using an oat milk at the moment, this would be a good trade up because it offers more protein and lower sugar than some of the other brands that are out there. And this is our barista milk. So this is a fairly new launch, but it's a combination of pea, oat and coconut cream. And that just gives you the best balance between the health and nutrition stuff and also the functionality. So when you stick it in your coffee machine at home, you're going to get the froth and foam that you expect to get. And if you're really, really good, you can do your latte art and everything like that with this as well, which you can't typically do with a lot of other plant. So yeah, that's a whistle-stop tour of the range.
Great. No, cheers for that. Smashing. Well, guys, if you've enjoyed this, reach out to Sam. Do thank him for his time, and go and check out Mighty as well. Go and try the products, and let the guys at Mighty know what you think. If you're interested in what else we're doing, we've got more in the Meet the series, and we'll be talking to category experts, innovation experts, and more guys in sales too. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Check out the playlist here for more content like this. Click the donuts to subscribe so you never miss an update, and give us a like and a comment so we know what content you'd like to see from us. See you next time.